Writing a copy is like playing the stock market or being an atomic physicist. Basically, all three of these professions, copywriting, speculation and science, are exactly alike. The same keys make each one of them work, and if you realize this, you can double the effectiveness of your copy overnight. Consider these facts: all three of them deal with immense natural forces, gargantuan forces thousands of times more powerful than the men who use them. In science, they are the fundamental energies of the universe; in speculation they are the billion-dollar tides and currents of the marketplace. In copywriting, they are the hopes, fears and desires of millions of men and women all over the world. The men who use these forces did not create them, they can neither diminish them nor add to them, but they can harness them. The scientist did not create the energy of the sun, but he can direct that energy into explosion of an atom bomb. The speculator did not create the enormous growth of the electronics industry after the war, but he can ride that growth to produce a 50 times increase in his capital. And the copywriter does not create the desire of women all over the world to lose weight, but he can channel that desire onto a particular product and make its owner a millionaire. This then is the end goal, to take these gigantic natural forces and harness them to our own uses. But how do we do it? No two of these forces are alike, each is unique, each operates in a different way. The same formula carefully worked out to release atomic energy, fails completely to solve the problem of rocket propulsion. The same pattern of investment that spots the upturn in electronics and makes a fortune, loses that fortune in uranium, and the same advertising appeal that builds an industry in reducing, collapses completely when applied to health foods, even though both advertisements may reach exactly the same audience. Why? Because no formula works twice. Each and every formula is simply the written solution to a particular problem that occurred in the past. Change even one part of that problem and you need an entirely different formula. This is why memorizing theories won't make you a scientist, or studying charts won't make you a market wizard, or rewriting somebody else's headlines won't make you a copywriter. What will work, you ask? Innovation, of course. Continuous repeated innovation. A steady stream of new ideas, fresh new solutions to new problems, created not by the impossible route of memory but by analysis. In a field in which the rules are constantly changing, where the forces that determine the outcome are constantly being encountered every day, rules, formulas and principles simply will not work. They must be replaced by the only known method of dealing with constantly new things: analysis. And what is analysis? It is a series of measuring rods, checkpoints, signposts, questions that show you where a particular force is going and enables you to get there first. It is a series of rough guesses based on past successes that enables you to cut through the surface of a problem to see what makes it tick. Analysis is the art of asking the right questions and letting the problem dictate the right answers. It is the technique of breakthrough, and it can be learned just as surely as grammar, maths, or spelling. Every new market, every new product, every new advertisement is a fresh new problem that never existed before on the face of this earth. The power that drives the ad. The power, the force, the overwhelming urge to own that makes advertising work comes from the market itself and not from the copy. The copy cannot create desire for a product. It can only take the hopes, dreams, fears, and desires that already exist in the hearts of millions of people and focus them onto a particular product. This is the copywriter's task, not to create this mass desire but to channel and direct it. It would be impossible for any one advertiser to spend enough money to actually create this mass desire. He can only exploit it, and he dies when he tries to run against it. This mass desire must already be there, it must already exist. You cannot create it and you cannot fight it, just focus it onto your particular product. But what are these mass desires? We can define this mass desire quite simply as the public spread of private want. Advertising is a business of statistics. It deals with percentage of the population. It addresses the ads to individuals, and yet the success of the ads depends on thousands or even millions of those individuals sharing the same response to these ads, the response of wanting the product enough to pay the price asked for it. Before these individuals can share this buying response, they must first share the desire upon which the ad is based. Privately, there are enough of them to repay the cost of advertising, manufacturing, and selling plus a profit. It is the moment when a private desire is shared by a statistically significant number of people large enough to profitably repay selling these people that a market is born. The market may consist of a desire shared by only a few thousand people, such as the urge to own fine antiques, or it may be shared by tens of millions as the desire to lose weight, but it is their demanding to be satisfied, waiting only for the information that will direct it onto a particular product. Since these mass desires are shared by millions of people, they take years to develop, and they are created by social, economic, and technological forces far greater than advertising itself can command. It is this fact, when used correctly, that gives advertising its enormous potential for profit. By simply directing this gigantic already existing mass desire rather than being required to create it, advertising thus commands an economic force 100 of times more powerful than the mere amount of money that advertisers can spend on it. But this amplification effect takes place only when advertising exploits already existing desire. When it tries to create this desire, it is no longer advertising but education. What are these forces that creates mass desire? There are many of them, but they fall into two general categories. 1. Permanent forces. Mass instinct, the desire of women to be attractive or men to be virile or men and women to be healthy. In this case, the instinct never fades, the desire never changes. The copywriter's problem here is not to pick out the trends, it is there already for everyone to see. His job is to distinguish between his product from the other that were there before it, to create a fresh appeal, to build a stronger believability, to shift desire from the fulfillment offered by one product to that offered by another. 2. The forces of change. The beginning, the fulfillment, and the reversal of a trend or style. The sudden mass decision to show off a pay raise by installing swimming pool. Mass education, the school primer and the movie screen, the taste and appearances of society women, television stars, and equally important, the sum total of all advertising in its unconscious, unplanned, and overall effect of multiplying people's dreams and desires. The copywriter is faced with a society containing dozens, even hundreds of these already existing mass desires. His first job therefore is to detect them too early and chart their force and direction.